I will present some of the outcomes of the projects, the outcomes related to the authenticity of animal source foods in the EU. So I prepared this presentation with Sarah Erasmus from the Meat Quality Project. So, food product authenticity. In fact, we have dealt with this question in the Meat Quality Project, focusing on pork and chicken meat, and also in the INTAQT project, in which we have cattle, both beef and milk. And well, the authenticity, in fact, are the final intrinsic characteristic of a product, and the results from both specific production and processing techniques and environmental conditions related to the origin of the products. And you can see on the scheme up that we reported some results related to the nutritional quality of the milk. Namely the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, and we can see that according to the farms the milk is coming from, we have, and when the farms are classified according to a gradient of input, we have a very important variability. So the quality is really different, in fact, on the left if the animals are fed with grass, or on the right if they are fed with grain and maize silage. So products have intrinsic, distinct final characteristics, and when they are associated with or specific origin, for instance, it makes all the product authentic, and they valorize their name. Next. Okay. Products are authentic. Now we will deal with food authenticity and frauds. In fact, we are talking about authenticity and frauds as far as the specific characteristics of the product are at the origin of the claim that is made to the consumer. So the authenticity, in fact, is when there is a match between the characteristics of the product and the claim that is made about the product. And we are talking about the fraud when deliberately the producer misuses the characteristics and the associated claim. So the authentication, in fact, is based on is a process of verifying the claim, and it is based on different methods. The current methods that are used are the methods based on the recorded data all along the food chain. And in this project, we have been developing methods based on the analysis of product, specific product characteristics, and they will allow food authentication. And it is very important, in fact, to safeguard the European agri-food chain, considering that food frauds represent up to 10% of all the food products at customs. They represent about 1% of the global food industry, and it is costing actually between 10 and 40 billion dollars per year, according to the FAO. So now I will go in some examples of tools and possible analyses. The first one I wanted to present is related to the authentication of breeds and strains, and it is based on genotyping, on DNA analysis that allows us to authenticate the main EU cattle breeds. So it's possible to do this thanks to this quite simple analysis, and we have also provided the same results for chicken strains that are authorized for the French Label Rouge production. And it works very, very well, in fact, and all parental lines in the case of chicken can be differentiated from each other using these techniques. So it's maybe very interesting. Another example is the prediction of beef eating quality using the Global Guaranteed Grading System. So this protocol is recommended by UNICE, and it is based on scoring some criteria in the abattoir to predict the beef eating quality. So accredited graders make some notification related to the animals, to the carcass, to the meat itself, and from this observation, they predict a score for the beef eating quality, going from unsatisfactory to premium quality. And in the INTAQT project, we have been showing that we can have a very good prediction of the marbling of the beef. That is a very important criteria for the beef eating quality. So it's possible, in fact, to authenticate this eating quality on beef thanks to this system. Another example that has been dealt in both INTAQT and meat quality projects, is the use of very low-cost and rapid techniques, that is the infrared spectroscopy. And infrared spectroscopy, we have been comparing some portable spectrometers that can be used directly in the factories, or benchtop also spectrometers. And we have seen on all species that these techniques allow the prediction of the product composition, the proportion of protein, of fat, etc. in the products. They allowed as well the authentication of the type of farming systems, classified according to their intensification or gradient of inputs. In the case of pig, the one that use traditional pig breeds. And also in the case of milk, we are able, thanks to this very low-cost technique, to predict the proportion of grazed grass in the dairy cow diet, thanks to this simple analysis. And finally, we have been working also on more complex, let's say, aspects of the food chain that can be predicted, the geographical origin, and some farmers' practices like slaughter age, diet composition, environmental enrichment, considering the welfare improvement, and so on. And in this case, it's more complex, and we need combined analytical techniques for the authentication of such aspects of the farming system. And in this project, we set up an EU meat database. That is, it's an initial step towards the development and the implementation of this database that will be used for authentication purposes. And this database will be implemented and will be shared via the community of practice of the European Food Fraud Project. So some concluding remarks regarding to this authentication aspect. Oh, don't know. Is it? Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, we can say that authentic products are created, and we have the chance in Europe to have really a wide diversity of product and of authentic products that are created through a combination of specific production and processing techniques and also environmental conditions. Some of these products are labeled, and they really add value to the food chain. We can see, for example, the PDO products. Product analysis can guarantee authenticity and provide the potential application for regulatory bodies that help to detect and prevent food frauds. The project offers new insights. We have been rapid and low-cost techniques, some techniques that are already working very well, and some very interesting future development thanks to data sharing to fill the intelligence gap that can be addressed and will be addressed thanks to this European database. And well, we confirm that developing authentication tools will help strengthening the integrity of the agri-food chain and maintain consumer trust in the EU food system. Okay, thank you for your